Alright, this is part one of a two-part lesson on operating with polynomials, so adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing polynomials. To this first part, we're just going to look at adding, subtracting, and multiplying. So operating with polynomials. Like I said, this part will look at adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So first let's look at adding and subtracting. And it's actually quite easy to add and subtract polynomials. We simply combine like terms. So say we have two polynomials, f of x, and f of x is equal to 3x to the fourth minus 2x cubed plus 5x minus 2, and a second polynomial g of x, and this function g of x is equal to negative 2x to the fourth plus 3x squared plus 6x minus 6. And let's subtract the two. So let's do f of x minus g of x. So we're subtracting these two functions. Well, f of x minus g of x simply means that I take my function f of x and I subtract the function g of x. Okay, well, I said we combine like terms. So I have 3x to the fourth, and then I have another x to the fourth term over here, negative 2x to the fourth. Like terms have the same exponent and variable. So 3x to the fourth, negative 2x to the fourth, I can combine those two. So it's 3 minus negative 2, well that's 5x to the fourth. And then let's look here, negative 2x cubed. Do I have any other x cubes? No. So I just go ahead and bring down the negative 2x cubed. It doesn't have any like terms. Do I have any x squareds? Not in the first polynomial, but I do in the second polynomial. So it's minus 3x squared. Now x to the first. I have a 5x to the first minus 6x to the first. Well, 5 minus 6 is minus 1, so that's negative x to the first. And then my constant terms, negative 2 minus negative 6 is positive 4. There we go. We've combined all of our like terms, so I go ahead and box my answer. I subtracted my two polynomials. Okay, so if it were adding, we would simply combine like terms. We wouldn't have to subtract. So adding and subtracting. I won't do an example of adding. I think we're okay. Let's look at multiplying. Okay, so when we multiply polynomials, it's just like distributing, and you know it. You guys already know how to multiply polynomials. We've done it a lot before. So let's look at this first example. Say we have the polynomial x squared plus 5x, so this is a quadratic, and let's multiply that by a linear polynomial, 2x minus 3. This should look familiar. Anytime I have a binomial times a binomial, we've learned about foiling. Foiling is just a type of distribution. So we're going to take the first term, x squared, and we're going to multiply it by each of the terms in the second polynomial. So x squared times 2x is 2x cubed, and then we multiply x squared by negative 3, negative 3x squared. Then we look at the second term, 5x, and multiply it by each term in the second polynomial. So 5x times 2x is 10x. And 5x times negative 3 is negative 15x. Once we do that, notice here 5x times 2x is 10x squared. Sorry about that. Now, we combine like terms. X to the third, there's no other x to the third term, so I just bring this down. X squared, I have two x squared terms, I combine them. Negative 3 plus 10 is 7. And then there's one x to the first term. So there you have it. We multiplied by foiling, or it's simply a form of distribution. Okay, let's look at one other problem now. Let's multiply this trinomial So x squared plus 3x minus 1, this is a trinomial, it has 3 terms. Let's multiply it by x plus 2. Okay, so now we have 3 terms times 2 terms. Well, it's very similar to what we just did. We take each term in the first polynomial and multiply them each by each term in the second polynomial. So let's start with x squared. I'm going to multiply x squared times x cubed, and then x squared times 2. So that's 2x squared. Now I'm going to do the same thing with 3x. So I multiply 3x times x is 3x squared, and now 3x times 2 is 6x. Now the last term, negative 1. Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times 2, negative 2. There. So I multiplied. Now I just combine like terms. X cubed, I see no other x cubed terms, so I just go ahead, rewrite x cubed. I do have 2x squared terms. 2x squared plus 3x squared is 5x squared. And then I have 2x to the first term, so 6x minus x is 5x. And there's only one constant. So there we go. All right. So that sums up our lesson on adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials.